So Tom, we had you on our first webinar and we had a great response from it. We've had a lot of people view that and a lot of emails come back to us. Tom, can you just give us a little bit of a background as to who you are and what you do in the industry? And then I'm going to follow that up with a couple key questions that people have asked.
Yes, my dad and I have had the Sealmaster franchise of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, Washington, D.C. since 1996. In March, it'll be 25 years for me. Anyway, we have been making and distributing pavement sealer and asphalt maintenance products, equipment, and accessories in Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. Washington, D.C. since 1996. There's been a lot of changes through the industry since that point, and we're hopeful that there's going to be more and more focus on, paving and asphalt maintenance, especially coming up, this coming year if COVID can wind down. But we are like the Home Depot for the asphalt maintenance industry. So our goal was to try to get people the best products when they want them in the most timely fashion so they can have the highest quality products and maximize productivity on jobs. Same thing you guys are trying to do with PavementSoft, maximize productivity. Productivity is how you make money.
Yeah, absolutely. So what got you guys interested initially with Sealmaster? You said that you guys had the franchise for a number of years here. What's kind of
Well, actually, what happened is my dad used to work for he was the president of like a $200 million company that had 48 branches in the United States and Canada. So he was flying all over the place when we were growing up. And then he decided he didn't want to work for shareholders anymore. And Sealmaster really started with the franchise system in 94. So he was one of the first franchises. Anyway, he lives in Pennsylvania. He tried to buy the central Pennsylvania location and it had just sold a week before. So they said, well, we'll give you Maryland and Delaware and only charge you for one franchise since Delaware's so small. So he had me come up for a weekend and I was working at a company removing and replacing underground gasoline and fuel oil tanks and building gas stations. And he had me look at the perspectives and we decided, well, you put this stuff on, it wears off and you have to put it on again. So it sounded like a pretty good business to me. So in any event, we took a plunge and we were the first Sealmaster plant that wasn't an existing operation built from scratch. And we've done pretty well. We've had our ups and downs, struggling with them trying to ban certain kinds of sealers and things of that nature. But
yeah,
we're very optimistic for 2021. There's so much business that was pulled off the table in last spring. And from what I understand, a lot of it's starting to come back.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that on our side of the world. We've seen a lot of things really ramping up here in 2021. So Tom, maybe just give me a little bit of an overview, for somebody who's going to view this, what really is it that sets your product apart and, what makes Sealmaster a quality company that really optimize their business?
One of the things is contractors want consistency in the product. And about 6 years ago, we decided to automate our manufacturing, our sealer manufacturing system. What that means is that every ingredient is weighed by computer. So, a batch that you get in April is the same as June, is the same as August, is the same as October. Every time it should be exactly the same. And we used to get a lot of calls, especially in the beginning. We used to use tape measures and to measure the ingredients and everything like that. And people would always say, well, you got a bad batch. You made a bad batch. And mainly smaller guys say, I got a bad batch of sealer from you. And I just said, no, you didn't. We don't make bad batches of sealer anymore.
I like that.
So it's kind of a good thing, but it's also, as far as, like Shawn and Paul, they don't have to worry about product consistency on the job. They just want to go in, knock it out, and not have callbacks. And that's what we're all about. If there would ever be a problem, we stand behind what we sell.
I like that. And I've seen that, across the industry, especially with people who are deep into the seal coat, is they want to be able to rely, right? When you're going out and you're putting your name on a piece of paper saying, we're going to do this job, you want to know that you have that consistency behind you. So that's a great thing. I like you had a couple good slogans in there. So I like that. You might have to trademark a couple of those for Sealmaster.
Sure.
Consistency is key.
The main thing that I always emphasize to people is people try to beat me up, on nickels and dimes on prices and stuff like that. But like I kept emphasizing, you make money in production. If you don't have to wait for your material, if your material is mixed and you don't have to fool around with it, anything you can do to take a 4-day job and make it a 3-day job, that's how you make money. It's not, I save 5 cents a gallon on a sealer that I bought for this job.
I like that. So Tom, tell us, we have clients all across the United States and Canada, and you're obviously here in the Northeast. How can a person reach out? Is it best for a person to reach out directly to you, or if they're interested in getting more information about the Sealmaster product, what's the best way for them to go about it if they're across the US?
I would recommend, and I'd be happy to help you guys, they contact me first, and then I'll put them in contact with the person closest to them that, can work with them.
Nice.
Because that way I can explain to the people up front what the situation is, and everybody's always looking for new customers any way they can get them.
Perfect. And we're going to post up all of Tom's contact info on all of our posts, so you'll be able to get in touch with him. But we'd highly recommend that you do reach out directly to Tom. And then, like he said, he'll hook you up with the right person in your area. So if you're looking for a good product that's consistent over time, we'd highly recommend Sealmaster. Great company. Tom's been wonderful to work with. For me personally, I've had some good interactions with Tom, and then he works a lot with a lot of our clients. And I know Shawn, we're going to be talking to Shawn here in a minute, and I know Shawn's got some high opinions of Tom. So Tom, I really appreciate you being on the call here with us and sharing a little bit about that product, that consistency. And I think it is a great thing that we share in common, is we're looking for efficiencies in what we do. So thanks again, Tom. We're going to be signing you out, and I'm going to be bringing on Shawn Boyce here. So Shawn is actually, if you don't know, Shawn is one of the founding members of PavementSoft. Shawn started out in the industry all the way at the beginning. I mean, Shawn, I won't tell how long you've been in the industry. Maybe I'll let you say that for yourself, but it's been a while. And Shawn's done everything from, he started out measuring properties, just go cold calling, building business, measuring properties, getting in there, developing relationships. He started his own successful striping company. Striping's a tough business, and Shawn made it work in some big ways. Then through the evolution, helped to found a big company called Brothers Paving. Many of you are familiar with Brothers Paving, and you're probably familiar with a little bit of the history between Brothers Paving and PavementSoft. Brothers Paving really forged the way out in Virginia, becoming Washington, D.C. metro area's premier asphalt and concrete provider. They've grown to be exceptionally large. Shawn, I'll let you talk a little bit about that. But while at Brothers, they really embraced technology. And this was probably in the early 2000s, 2010, really started to engage with technology, developed something that was really useful for them in-house. That was the origin of PavementSoft. So they started to develop that in-house. It became a thing. It helped them scale. It helped them grow. And Shawn, again, you could talk a bit about that. But it became such a thing that they decided to split it out and become its own entity. So Shawn is one of the founding members of PavementSoft. I am now the CEO of PavementSoft. We're a separate entity from Brothers Paving, but that is our roots. PavementSoft is rooted in a company that's been around for a long time, rooted in Shawn's experience, the experience of all their operators, and a lot of great companies throughout the years who've been with PavementSoft. So Shawn is the vice president at Brothers Paving. He runs the logistics department. And now Shawn actually is an advocate in the industry. He's extremely engaged. Shawn, tell us a little bit about your philosophy in the industry, why PavementSoft was such a thing that you wanted to kind of get it out into the world. I mean, you guys could have just kept it in-house, you could have done your own thing, but you decided to split it out as a separate entity. You've decided to be an advocate out on social media. You've decided to mentor a lot of people. What kind of drives you behind that?
All right. Well, thanks for that introduction. A little embellished. I've had a lot of help along the way. But so I started back in 1994, 95-ish, which is a couple years ago, and started out measuring parking lots. Soon realized that I needed to make more money, so I figured I could learn how to stripe. I started there, striping parking lots, and I was still working for a paving company at the time, estimating parking lots, and kind of grew from there. So, the early days of PavementSoft. So PavementSoft wasn't a thing. It was called Bid Package. Back in 2010, PavementSoft was just something that we needed at Brothers Paving and Concrete to grow. We started out just like a lot of people, and we had our Excel spreadsheet, we had our Word, we had a bunch of different things that we would use to create proposals, gather information, create estimates. And we realized that it wasn't very efficient. And I'm somebody that doesn't like to do things, over and over again for no reason. So about the 10th year of measuring the same parking lot, I'm like, man, we have to have something better than boxes and boxes of files. So we hired a guy to come in, and it was on the old FileMaker Pro platform, and he was going to build us a system, which we called Bid Package, that would allow us to capture all of our leads, number one. All of our estimating data was in one place, push a button and would turn it into a proposal, all the way through to where we are. But so that's how it started. And we were a company that was growing, but we kind of hit a wall. We hit a wall, and we were like a car going down the road 90 miles an hour with the windows open, and we're trying to capture everything in front of us, but there's papers flying out the back, and it just wasn't efficient until we started that initial Bid Package, which is now PavementSoft. So at the time, we had probably, I think, 5 or 6 salespeople. We were doing about 12 million a year in volume. A decent sized company, but we just couldn't grow with with the way we were doing things, just very inefficient. So we went down this road. We started PavementSoft Bid Package. Sorry, I keep getting ahead of myself. Started Bid Package, and it got to a point where within a couple years, we were able to take those exact same guys and go from 12 million to about 18 million in 2 years. So we had great growth without doing anything different, without hiring any more people, just because we were able to capture all of our data and hold that information and not remeasure stuff, and have proposals and estimates that would go out, pretty quick. Back in those days, estimate to proposal would take 30 minutes. We were able to do them in like 5. So, the sales guys were much more efficient. So that's about 2010-ish, right? So going forward from there, we ran it, and we were able to scale. Brothers was able to grow. We were able to add more sales guys because we had systems in place now. We were able to grow. We were able to get to a point where, this tool Bid Package, I was sitting down, and this was probably about, I'm going to say 2015. And I was sitting with another contractor friend of mine, and we were bidding a job together. I was in his office late at night. He's a paving contractor as well. And I opened up my Bid Package, and I did the bid real fast. And he looks at me, he goes, "Shawn, where'd you get that?" And I'm like, "Get what?" And as I'm closing my laptop, because I don't want him to see, our secret. And And he said, no, your software, where'd you buy it at? I said, well, we didn't buy it. We built it. You know, we had a guy for the last, 5, 6 years helping us build this. He's like, man, our industry needs this. So I didn't know what he meant by that. He tried to buy it from me and I wouldn't sell it to him. I wanted to keep that information all to myself. But we got back, we talked about it. My business partner, the president of our company, we were talking about it, and of course, it was off the table. Any development to put on the market. But as time went on, I started thinking about, this thing could be really good for our industry.
Mm.
And the reason why I say it could be good for our industry is how many times do we show up on bid day and there's 3 bidders there, and you got one guy that's at 50,000, one guy that's at 52,000, one guy that's at 35 grand. And I'm like, wouldn't it be nice if this platform could go to every contractor out there, so at least everybody knows what their true cost is. So when they're bidding, we don't have this discrepancy between 52 and 35,000, because the guy at 35,000, he's not capturing all his costs. I can guarantee that.
And he's probably not going to last many years. He's going to put a little black eye on the market.
And that's what happens, because a lot of those guys, they go in at 35, they get halfway through the job, they figure out, oh my gosh, I messed up somewhere, and they start skimping on product, right? So at that point, I was like, you know what? This is bigger than just, me keeping this. This will help our entire, everybody in this industry, if we give it a chance, right? If we can get this thing to market. And again, if you look at it, just, $100 a month, it's not like we're getting rich, but it covers the costs, but what it does is it allows everybody to know, everybody that's on the platform, first of all, they're going to get better because they're going to be able to know what their costs are. And once they know their costs, they're going to be able to scale, and they're going to be able to know, so, okay, next year, I know what it's going to cost to do this, to put this guy on, because I'm capturing everything that I need to capture. And once we did that, we're starting to see our industry standardize. And with the hundreds of companies all over the United States and Canada that use it now, we're seeing the bids getting closer, and it's doing exactly what we dreamed it would do.
I kind of feel like, as we work through PavementSoft, it's kind of like a little bit like the Iron Man suit, right? A little bit like Tony Stark. And so you got your first version, right? Is that Tony Stark, when he comes out of the cave, right, in Afghanistan or whatever, in Iron Man 1, he's got that kind of clunky, big old suit on, but I think now what we're going to be talking about today is kind of the Mach 5 version, right? This is like Avengers Endgame nanobot technology, right? Now we're moving in the app. So tell me a little bit, Shawn, as we've progressed throughout the years here, what is the app doing for you guys today?
So the app is absolutely changing the way that we do business. So the app is, we're able to go out now. The sales guys, they got a mobile app, whether it's on their cell phone or
What up in just a second,
or the iPad, right? So no matter what, they can go out to the job. They can snap a couple of pictures of areas that need repair, take a picture of the marquee sign, quickly enter in their information, put in how many square yards of seal, or how many linear foot of crack fill, how many square yards or square foot of patches there are, the depth, and it tells you where you should be bidding this at. It'll give you your total costs, and it'll tell you everything about it.
Yeah.
So fast.
So this is what we're going to be focusing on here today. So Shawn, I'm going to start showing some things here on the app, and maybe we could just talk a little bit about it, because I know you talked about going from 12 million to 18 million back then.
Yeah.
And then, once PavementSoft split out and started doing its thing, you guys went from, I'll let you fill in the gaps, but
Yeah. Yeah. Since we've started using it, we went from 18 million to 50 million
Right.
in about 6 years.
And so last year was really the first year that you really adopted the app, right? It was
Yes.
2020, it was COVID.
Yes.
When you guys were heading into 2020, what did you expect that you were going to do in 2020 before COVID hit?
As far as total sales,
Yeah, as far as growth with the app, with the new technology and all that kind of stuff.
we knew there would be some, but we didn't know it would be as good as it was.
And so, so 2020 hit you in the face, right? COVID.
2x4 between the eyes. Yeah.
And with COVID hitting you in the face, how did you finish the year?
We finished the year.
Percentage wise.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. We finished the year 12% higher than we initially had, and we had growth already.
Yeah.
Built in.
And so hopefully we're going to be able to show some of that here on the little tutorial that we're going to do. We're going to go a little bit of a deep dive here into actually using the app. You can see tutorials online. We have tutorials online of how to use the app, what buttons to push, where to go. But Shawn, I'm just going to walk through a few things I know are important to you and your crew, your teams. And maybe we could just talk about how 2020 was a successful year, given the app here that you guys used. So this is the calendar app. So I just open up the app and pops me open to my calendar. So Shawn, I know that you guys really like looking at your crew view, right?
Yeah, I like the crew view better. The other one's fine too, but I see more with the crew view.
Right. So what does this give? What has this done for your team having the app? I mean, you've had the schedule for a couple of years. You've had, before that you had a whiteboard on your wall. I mean, what does the app do for you guys?
But the field guys never saw this. So now anybody in the field can pull up the mobile app and see where they're going. If it's linked to a crew, they can see what it is. If they're sitting at home and they want to know where they're going to be in 2 days from now, they can click on it, open it up, see where the job is, what they're going to be facing when they go there, so they can prepare before they even get there. You also can add all the maps. You can add all the pictures, the field photos, anything that you're going to need. Yeah, right there. So you can see all that stuff. So when the foreman or whoever, your superintendent or whoever goes out with the crew, they have all the information right there. You don't have to worry about running back and printing this or trying to find this or locating it. It's all stored right there with the specific job, the specific pictures, the specific map, and the specific work orders.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we really took on ourselves last year, 2019, at PavementSoft is really focusing on it's a philosophical quote from a guy I really like. It's called "The medium is the message," right? PavementSoft's always had the data there. It's always been good. But really what we've done with the app is we've put it in the hands of people that are actually using it, right? I mean, it's one thing for your secretary to use PavementSoft. It's a whole nother thing for your foreman, your crew leader, your shovel man to be using the software, right? And I think that's, Shawn, kind of what you guys saw a lot last year, is that you had laborers who are now paying attention, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, this is, I'm just showing a couple of things I know, again, are important. So you've got your calendar here, you've got everybody on the same page. And one thing to note is that on the app, on the software, you can customize the permissions. So if you want people to see everything, they can. If you want them to see some things, they can. All that kind of stuff is customizable. But Shawn, I know you guys come in here and you use the work orders a lot, right? You'll view the work orders, and it integrates with your phone, which is nice, right? You don't have to worry about, emails and stuff like that. You can now text. So if I just click up here in the top right corner, I can text this out and I can send that out to my crews. Everybody can have access to it. They don't have to have an email address to view and download stuff, which is huge, right? Because Shawn, how many of your guys, percentage wise, how many of your crew has email addresses, right?
Yeah, not as many as they should.
They've all got smartphones. And so that's really what this is doing. So let me go in here, Shawn. I know that you guys, the other thing that I hear a lot of feedback from your team is on the bid side. Being able to put together bids. What is being able to put a bid out done for you guys? And while you think about that, I just want to show everybody real quick here this is a list of my bids. I can sort, I can filter, I can type search, I can do all that kind of stuff. Up at the top right corner, I can go ahead and I can just add a bid on the fly. So boom, I'm going to add this bid, save it. I'm going to hit add an asphalt bid. Let's do just an overlay. Boom, there it is. I can start to fill in my stuff. So Shawn, what is this? What has this done for you guys? And I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to add some areas and things like that. But tell me what it's done for your sales team.
Well, it helps us to not miss things because every component of the bid's right there, whether it's the material, the trucking. So once you set it, it's automatically going to come up. So it's going to prompt you as you're scrolling down, you need to add your labor, you need to add your trucking, you need to add your material. Where's it coming from? What plant? Do I need light towers? Do I need any additional? So you're able to capture all of your cost right here on the mobile app. So as a salesperson, they're out there, they don't have to think. They're just plugging and playing. They're going down through there. They're saying, okay, there's 2,200 square feet of 4-inch repairs. There's 500 square yards of seal coat, right? They're able to put that in there and it's going to spit out how many gallons they need and the price that we pay for it and how many tons of asphalt, the price that we pay for it. And then they're going to have to just put in there, how long do you think it's going to take our crew to do the job? They're going to have to estimate that. That's pretty much the only estimation they're going to have to do. It's going to print out a direct cost just as you're seeing here. And then it's going to tell you what you should bid the job at if you want to make a certain margin. Well, at that point, you can put in whatever price you want, but at least you'll know what your costs are going to be.
So I know you, Shawn, again, this is a little bit of a highlight of you, is you run what, 9 sales guys, 10 sales guys?
Yeah, 10.
And a lot of those bids, if not all those bids, kind of go through you for approval.
Yeah.
I mean, what has this done for your Friday night when somebody wants you to take a quick look at a bid for them?
Before I would have to find a way to get back to the office, open up my computer, find out what they were doing. Right now, I don't have to worry about that. I can pull the phone up in the middle of chewing my thick Wagyu steak, if I get lucky and get one of those, but I'm in the middle of chewing and I can pull that app up and I can look at the bid right there. Just give me the bid number, I'll find it, and I can go through there and I can say, you know what, we can do this in 12 hours, as opposed to 2 days of 8 hours, right? We're gonna change this to 1 12-hour day, and I can really dial down on the bidding, right? So I'm able to do that. Or, hey guys, I hear what you're saying, but that parking lot's pretty chopped up by looking at the pictures. It's going to be 2 days to do this. There's no way we're going to be able to do it in one. And I can, as a manager, I can go through there and make that change on the fly, make a quick change. It takes me about 30 seconds to look at it. And either I'll just send it back to them with a quick text, all is good, or I'll call them and say, hey, as a training, we really need to, make sure that we're capturing the proper, hours and because it's a cut up parking lot.
Yeah. And again, it's nothing's wrong with having a computer. Nothing's wrong with having a laptop. But right, when you're out to dinner and you need to figure out something real quick, it's a hassle. Even if you have to run to your truck, open up your laptop, boot it up, get the hotspot going, right? Now it's a pull up, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was at the airport and we were getting ready to board a plane and I got a phone call from one of the sales guys. They're like, man, we need to get this pricing right now. I was heading out to, I think, Salt Lake City. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I quickly pulled it out real fast. And it was a $175,000 mill and pave. It was a big job. They had to have pricing. Within 2 minutes, I pulled it up. I had the guy on the phone, the sales guy on the phone. We made the changes. We changed the profit percentage. The customer said you need to come down 12 grand if you want it. Made sure that would work within our parameters, and we closed the deal just like that. That would have never happened before we had the mobile app.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So I know another part of this is the jobs, right? So you put a bid together. Obviously, we saw that was a real bid that I just put together.
Yep.
I know in reports from some people, they're able to put bids together in under a minute, right? If you're doing a nice residential seal coat, boom, within a minute, you've got your iPad, boom, there it is. But the other thing I know that you look at, because you're more on the managerial side as well, is you want to look in on job costing, right? So I'm just going to walk through here. This is our jobs, right? Again, you can sort and filter. You can see, show me what a certain salesperson has been doing. I can see all the salesperson stuff there, and I can dive in. And I can see down here at the bottom, for anybody who's following along here, you can see the job variance report at the bottom in the yellow lines. So I bid this job at $75,000. I expect to spend $54,000. In that next line is the operations line. That's where your foreman or your crew leader or whomever is going to enter in daily information. So Shawn, I'm going to go ahead and enter a daily in for this job just to kind of show how quick it is. But maybe you could just give us a little bit of an insight into, again, last year, you guys were able to do 10, 15% growth in your total revenue. But what were you able to do with your margins based on this information? I'm going to go ahead and add it daily.
So I'll answer that while you're editing. Our margins actually increased because we were able to dive in and see exactly what our costs were. And were we, hitting the mark? Were we just throwing numbers at a board? Once we start to put the actual field stuff with the estimate, we were able to say, you know what? We can actually bid this cheaper than what we think because, all the data that we have shows that we're making great margins on it. And because we can bid it cheaper, we can get more work. It also shows the other way too, right? Man, we're bidding this at 40 cents a linear foot for this crack fill, and we're getting killed on every single one of them. We need to increase this. So, as the numbers show, we're able to get better and better, and our margins actually increased.
Yeah. So here we go. Like I've just added in a quick daily here. And so you can see at the bottom of the screen, you can see I finished this job out. If I were a foreman, I just filled out my timesheets for the day. I don't know if everybody saw that, but if I just jump back in here real quick, asphalt, I can see that whatever Shawn estimated, it would be 287.5 tons. I said that we actually used 257, right? Down here on the labor, I was able to pull in my labor. I was able to do all my digital timesheets right here, right? So again, that puts that information right at your fingertips. So Shawn, I mean, for you at a managerial level, I know I'm just throwing this at you, but what do you see here? What kind of, if this job is done, what are you seeing here at a managerial level?
So, I mean, then we killed it, right? So the expenses were supposed to be 54,000. We actually came in at 48,000. We did better. Hopefully we build to 75,000, and our profit margin just went from 28 to probably 35%. That's what I see from that screen right there. And it just gives us all the ammo that we need to bid work in the future.
Right. So in this, I mean, you're able to dig down and find at a quick glance, again, this is from your palm, you're able to see how much you were under on labor, how much you were under on materials, you're under on trucking. And this might spark something in a manager's eyes, right? If you're able to look at this quickly on a daily basis. Shawn, have you ever found that, when you look at that trucking number, does that make you feel good or bad? I mean, sometimes it makes you feel real good, but sometimes you're thinking, oh crap, they totally forgot one of the trucking invoices in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has that happened that you get 3 weeks down the road, you thought you were paid up and, you're missing it, right?
Yeah.
You get dinged with that. Okay, cool. So Shawn, I know I walked you through a couple things here. We looked at the bids, we looked at some jobs. Opportunities is similar. We've got the measure tool. This is nice for anybody who's real interested in the measure tool. This is kind of cool. You can get in there. Shawn, I know that you prefer using it on the iPad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just better, right? A little bit bigger.
It's hard on a small screen on the phone, but I've done hundreds and hundreds of them from my phone. So it can be done. You just have to be more careful. On an iPad, you have a larger screen and it works great.
Nice. And then the opportunities, I didn't touch much on that just because I know that you guys do a really good job following up, but how would this have helped you 15 years ago?
Opportunities, and I've done it myself. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done this. I've taken a lead off the phone or going down the road, and I've written it down on the back of an envelope, and I sit down, and then, you know, life happens and jobs happen, and you know, I have more stuff and I stack it, and I find that lead that's on this piece of paper, you know, a month later, after the bid's already, you know, been given out to somebody. So this way it keeps everything, all of our leads in one place. So there's no more forgetting it. And, you know, for people like for us that we have multiple salespeople, if I start seeing where a specific sales guy is not following up on these leads, I can call them and say, hey, you know, Michael, you know, what's going on? Man, I'm just really busy. So, okay, well, I'm going to transfer that lead to somebody else, right? So quickly from here, I just click on it and I can send it to the next sales guy. So we follow up on it. In that way, you know, we don't miss out on opportunities.
Yeah, I've seen this as a big game changer, especially for companies that are trying to grow a reputation. And I know you guys have a great reputation, but you know, you got to keep that reputation, right? All it takes is one bad Google review for somebody to say, these jokers never return my call, right? And I mean, it takes a lot of work to overcome that, even if it's not true or whatever. So you never want to give that opportunity.
Yep.
So you know, there's a lot of other things here. We haven't got into everything. You know, there's a lot of reporting available here, but Shawn, I want to be sensitive to the time that you've given us and the time that everybody's had on the call here with us. Um, we've added a track time feature, a to-do list. You can assign out notes to people. And we're adding a chat feature, which is going to be pretty cool here in the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of things coming in the app side, which are really, really useful, but we'd love to go into more detail with everybody on that. If you have questions, we do free demos all the time. You can set up a free account at any time. But Shawn, maybe just, yeah, what are some things that you would recommend in closing that contractors look at as they're getting involved here with PavementSoft?
Well, you know, the one thing about PavementSoft is it can service anybody from a $200,000 a year company that's just doing seal coating of driveways to $200 million a year company. So the software is going to grow with you. As much as you put into it, you're going to get out of it. So, you know, so as, you know, something that you guys could gain efficiency, you can get your life back, because you don't know how many gallons of gas I've wasted going back and forth from property to property over and over again because I forgot that when I was ready to do the bid. And I don't remember how many riser rings that I needed. There's just so many things, or I get home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot the fire lanes. How many foot of yellow curb is there, a red curb, depending on where you're at, and have to drive all the way back there. You do the bid while you're sitting there. I tell you, one thing that really separates you from the next guy is when you're sitting in that parking lot, you just ended up meeting with the property manager, the owner, whoever that person is, and you sit down in your car and you get that bid done. And before they even leave the parking lot, you contact them and you said, hey, just want to make sure that you just got my email. You know, I'm having a little problem with my email right now. I just want to make sure that you got it. And they pull it up and they're so, first of all, they're shocked. Oh my gosh, this bid's already done. They're so impressed. And you just separated yourself from everybody else out there because you did everything right then and there. All your pictures for field photos, for work orders down the road, if you get the job, you have, because you've taken them and you've loaded them into PavementSoft.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Shawn. You know, I'm glad to work with you. You know, I work closely with Shawn. For anybody who doesn't know, you know, I work with PavementSoft, CEO of PavementSoft, and running that. But very, very often, I will transfer people over to Shawn. Once it gets into the operational side, how do I do this? What machine's best? Shawn, you've been a wealth of knowledge for me and for a lot of people in the industry. And I just love the approach that you've taken to raise the industry, you know, and I think that's what it's all about, what we're doing here, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. And that's what we're doing here at PavementSoft. And that's definitely what you're doing at Brothers and with your work, consulting and helping people around the industry. So I just want to say, I really appreciate all that you've done for the industry and all you're continuing to do, because it's a lot of fun. It's a good industry. We work with a lot of great people. So thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much, everybody that's joined us. We do have a big old giveaway that we're doing. So I don't want to take away from that, but I do want to throw you a little curveball. We're actually going to be doing a drawing. We had a number of people who applied to come. They couldn't do it because they had snow work and they had other work that they had to get to. So we don't want to do the live drawing right now, but I do promise you we're going to be doing that drawing tonight with all the people who are going to rewatch this. So they've asked that they can rewatch it and be included in that drawing. So we're going to be doing that drawing. It's a big old drawing as well. Sealmaster has been extremely generous. Let me see if I could throw this up here real quick. Here we go. So we've got the giveaway. You get to pick one of these 3 prizes: a pallet of Crackmaster, a melter, or a Billy Goat blower. Right, so that's what's coming your way. We have one lucky winner that we're going to be sharing this with, and we're going to be announcing that via email tonight. So please watch your email. If you are on this call, you are entered to win, so don't worry about it. We just had a couple people that, work is work, and that's how it is. So we know they couldn't be with us. But with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. I'd like to thank Tom Decker for being on. We'll include all of his contact information. Thanks to Shawn for being on with us. We're going to be including his info. If you'd like to reach out to him, send him a quick message on Facebook. He's real quick to get back with people, and he's just a great wealth of knowledge. But as for us at PavementSoft, we appreciate you taking the time, diving into the app with us. If you'd like to get more information, if you'd like to do a one-on-one training or training with your team, please feel free to contact us via our website, and we will be happy to set that up with you. And we will be sending out an award email notification to everybody here on the call as to who won that sweepstakes. So we appreciate it. Thank you for being with us, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you.